Alright, so what do you have in your bag?
Alright, well, I'm Jack Fillenwarth, PDGA number 62367. I carry the Ranger bag right now. Got a lot of pockets, phone, e-cig. Up top I got some more storage stuff. I keep a couple of discs up there for caliber rounds, minis, all that good stuff. Let's go to the meat and potatoes. Putting with blend judges right now, just because the winter makes my regular classics like really hard. So I like the blends. They firm up nicely to right where I need them to be. And then back in the summer, starting in the summer, I will go back to my regular classics. I like the super firm stuff. I tried soft putters for a long time, and then I fixed my putting for a little while by going to hard putters, and I haven't looked back. Right now, these are throwers, my thrower judges, and in the summer, these will go to thrower judges, which probably means I'll have to replace them, but not that big a deal. But those are my main putters right now. And then I also have a Opto Pure as a driving putter, and most of my upshots, I like to not put a whole lot on an upshot. I like to just let it sort of glide and do its own thing, and the Pure seems to do that really well. Plus, I like these Opto Pure X-Outs. They're pretty sweet. And then up top, I also keep Trident for utility, some sidearms, thumbers. I can't do tomahawks, my wrist's messed up, so thumbers the best I can do. And then, like 250 and then dump left maybe, 200 probably on an average. I mean, not very far for sure. As far as putters go, I don't drive these much more than 150 to 200, somewhere in there. Otherwise, I'll go up to a mid just because I feel a little more comfortable. I can get them farther. I just don't like my accuracy with them, and I'm still working on that stuff. For a scope of reference, actually, real quick before we dive into the drivers and other stuff, I drive 380s like my max measure that I've ever thrown. So I would assume that I can get up to maybe 400 on a really good pull. But my average distance is somewhere in 325 to 350. I feel most comfortable driving it somewhere in the 300 ranges where I know I'm good, I'm solid at. Let's start at mid-ranges. For super flippy, I like the Westside Tersis. I got a nice tournament plastic one here. I threw a lot of max weight mid-ranges for a long time because I thought that's what you're supposed to do because everyone said, get a max weight mid, it was a good idea. But I've dropped everything down to about 175 is about my average where I throw at now. And I just like those for mids because I get the flight out of them that I feel like I'm supposed to. This one will just nice and turn, hyzer flips up, and like everyone says, sneaky long. Goes about as far as my truths sometimes, but it flips up nicely, rides. Sometimes it'll ride to the left if I give it a little more power, or ride to the right rather. But I can make it hyzer, I can make it go straight, right. This is, sometimes it's my any mid-range, but it's also my get out of trouble disc a lot. So the Westside Tersis. Then I got two truths in here. I got a nice Central Coast Disc Golf Dimax one. This one's really light. This is a 173, I believe, but it's stable. You'll notice I throw all blue and yellow for the most part. I have some white stuff. It's out right now for the winter. But I throw a lot of the blue Lucids because I really think, and it might not be true, but I believe the blue Lucid is more overstable. So this one's actually just every bit as stable as like a 175, 176 truth. Very comparable. This is it's going to finish, it's going to go straight to left kind of one. This is my new one I just got. That's a yellow first run. 175 on this one, 176 rather. And this one, pretty much the same thing. Doesn't really do much different. Just nice to have a backup in case you lose one. I'll throw this if there's any risk of me not being able to see the disc. That's why I have yellows as my backup, so I can see those from a good ways out. But those are my truths. I used to carry more, but I'm trying to dim my bag down a little bit, go a little more simple. So I have less molds than I ever used to carry, and sometimes fewer discs. There'll be a couple times where I have a lot, but it's just because I really like those discs. Not that I don't really like the truth, just mixing it up. I have a Suspect. This is my first and only Suspect I've ever had. Biofusion 174. Just anything I got a flick. I don't have a flick at all. I can't do it. Can't throw a sidearm. My wrist just doesn't let me do it. It hurts me to do it. Hurts my arm to do it. But this one I can not put too much on. It'll do the job. Finishing right. I can do little trick shots. Give it a little ante. Let it flex around some stuff. This gets me around a lot of trees. Short goes left. Does the Trident's job just a little easier, almost. Also, I'm throwing these, like I said, about up to 250-ish, maybe 275-ish, and then I'll step up to a fairway just a little more comfortable. But they'll go for me. I can get the truths out a lot further, but I'll still just go up to a fairway. I just feel a little more comfortable with it. But this doesn't go far. It just goes left. That's pretty much what I want it to do. I don't ask it to do much, and it's the Biofusion, so it's super flat, which I enjoy. I don't like I like the feel of the Fusions with a little bit more dome, and I was going to get one. And then they released the Verdict in production runs. So I was like, well, I'll just get that for an overstable mid-range I like the feel of for backhand. And this one, also like the Truth, sneaky long. I really, really like driving it. And this is the heaviest mid in my bag at 177. Just because if I wanted a disc to go left, I wanted to get a heavy one, make sure it was going left. And this guy does. It does a lot. I can actually drive this one really far. I've gotten this one up to 300 before, pretty comfortably. But I still, most of the time, I can do that with it. I can do that in field work, and that's all well and good. But on the course, I just feel a lot more comfortable when looking at the shot to throw a fairway for that kind of a hole. And that's it with the mid-ranges. Like I said, I like to keep it kind of simple is what I'm trying to do. I have a lot more driver molds than I want to. Working on beating some stuff in so I can replace other stuff. But for now, I have all these molds in my bag. I have an Underworld. That's my turnover fairway. To rollers. To even, I can even side on this thing. It's not too fast. It's not too overstable. You know, it's actually, and it's not too understable either. On the other side, I can give it a tiny bit of hyzer, let it flip up, kind of do its thing. I don't throw it especially far. Annies are still something I'm working on. I haven't been playing that long, so Annies are a little tough for me to figure out. And more often than not, I'll give it the wrong amount of hyzer, and it'll hyzer out on me. You know, it'll go up, flip up, and still go left, and I want it to flip up and finish right. Working on it. It's going to take some time, but, you know, 172, that's my usual weight for drivers. I really like my drivers at 172. It used to be the only weight I threw. I've moved up and down a little bit since then. But 172 is my favorite. And again, the Blue Lucid, a little more stable than the other one. I used to have a orangish VIP Underworld that was a little flippier than this one. And it was not uncontrollably flippy. But I got the blue one just to be a little more, that I could power up on it a little bit more and get to do it. I might get a TP Underworld here in the future, but who knows? I don't really have that much room left in the bottom of my bag, so space is precious. Then we got escapes. My main do everything fairway. To the right, you know, gentle Annies, straight, left. They do it. I got Sweet Dimex Eyeball one, still pretty new, 175. Not very broken in, so it's nice and straight for me still. Same thing with the Wonder Nut die. These are at 175 also. They're both pretty much the same disc, replaceable. Just throw it depending on if I'm worried about losing the eyeball. I prefer the eyeball one, just because I think it's really cool. And I'll throw this more, but if I feel like I might lose it, or I might not be able to see it wherever possible, you know, shul there may be, I'll throw this one. And then I got this one recently. Just stable. I like the Lucid Escapes. I think they're the most overstable. I actually disagree with the whole Fusion's more stable for the dynamic disc line. I don't think that's true. I definitely think Lucid is always more stable. And I may eventually get a blue one of these because, again, I think that's even more stable. But that's just personal belief. But I really like the feel of Lucid. I prefer Lucid plastic for just about everything if I can. I just really like the feel of these Fusion Escapes. They actually did a really good job for me, so I kept with those. But I do have one sneaky Lucid in there. Moving up is the Saint Pro, which to me is just, it's just like this, except it's going to finish left a little easier. I can power up on this one a little more and it's still going to dump left. To me, the Saint Pro is just a more stable escape, especially here in the gold line. I had an Opto. It was a bit meat hooky for me, so I got a nice gold line one. It's pretty, it's pearly, and it just does the same lines. It has a little turn to it, but it's going to come back left for me. I can throw it on an Annie. It'll still come back out of it pretty well. That's just what I prefer to do with it. Never been much of a fairway thrower for the longest time. Neither was I a mid-range thrower. Lately, since I've been getting a little more distance out of my game, I've had to really beef up what I throw here. So this one just made it out of its test period. I almost didn't even include it in the bag, but I think it does the job well enough that I kept it. Moving on to my absolute favorite driver. If I can throw these, I will. I love them. I got Renegades. You know, with my arm not being super strong, they're pretty dependable. I like them a lot for that. I got an Air Renegade, which I've been throwing a little bit. It turns over a lot easier, so I can get some big Annie finishes with it. I haven't tried it on a roller line yet, just because rollers hurt me a lot. Sometimes I do, so I'd rather take an easier disc and not have to put too much on it to make it roll. This, I feel like I might have to power up a little more than I want to mess up my arm. Not my favorite thing in the world. It hurts a lot, and I haven't been throwing it out lately, so I'm just gonna let it ride and not do that. But it's got a sweet party time stamp. Those are always fun. you know, the oil slick or whatever anyone calls it. But this thing goes really far. If I put it on a hyzer, it'll pop up, you know, still turn out, come left. It goes really far. I haven't been able to test it out for huge distance yet, but I can tell already it's going to get me big distance real easily. So there's that one. Then I got my Lucid Escapes. Again, I got the blues. And I got my one yellow in there for spotting. This is the oldest Trilogy disc in my bag right now. This thing is one of the first drivers I ever got. Once it came out, I bought one, and this is the one I've had since then. You started out pretty stable because it's blue. I just believe that. I'm just going to just keep saying that. I still believe that, even if people say it's just the PLH or whatever. I still think the blue Lucids are just more stable. And this guy's beat to hell. I throw this one when I want to hyzer flip something. This is my sidearm disc. I can get the most distance out of this because I don't have to force my arm too much. Nice and beat in for that. It's actually pretty flat for a Renegade. They're not known for being flat, but this one's doesn't have too much of a dome on it. It's beat to all hell, and it's just, I love the feel of it in my hand still. I'll throw it when I can get away with it, just cause, even though it's probably not the smartest disc that I could throw, but I just really like it. I got this one recently, which is a nice blue X out. It's a little light to be my most overstable escape. This one's, or Renegade, this one still is, just because it's really heavy. For my drivers, it's a 175. I don't usually throw 175 for max distance drivers. But this guy, you know, nice and normal if I just feel like I want to throw something. You know, just sort of an in the bag one, just for in the middle of the two, kind of. Don't throw this one a whole lot. I'll usually just lean on the yellow one. But it's and this is also pretty new to my bag, but I can, you know, it's solid. Just don't have to throw it all that often. Sort of a backup in case I lose one of my other ones. And then this guy's my stable dog one. Big S turns out of this one. Throw it on an ante, let it really take that ante for a long time. If I have enough height on it, it'll come back left for me for a pretty good shot. You know, escapes, they were up to about 300, dead on, 300 maybe. These will get me up to about 325, 350, somewhere in there. Again, I don't throw far, and I know I should just be throwing fairways up until I get those about 400. But these do different things for me in the range I get them to, so I still like them. They do their different jobs, even if it's not the full flight that the disc is capable of. And then we move on to trespasses. I don't know if you can tell by now I'm a DD homer. I really like dynamic disc stuff that they've put out. I do like Latitude. I love Latitude. I love West Side. But dynamic disc definitely dominates my bag just because it's my first introduction to the Trilogy. And it's just what I've thrown the most. I got this yellow trespass. This is 174. Pretty beat up. This is my if I want to finish a little harder right sidearm, or if I want to turn something over backhand for huge distance. This is the backhand disc I get the most distance out of. That's not an air plastic. I get a lot, so I can get this one up to about 340, 350 probably on a really good day. It takes a really good day for me to throw that far. I gotta be nice and warm and loosened up. Winter in Illinois is sucking for my distance, but I'll come out of it better like I did last year. But this one's real solid. I like it. This one, this is clear but with a tint of yellow, so it still fits the scheme of the bag. This one's just my backup. It's heavy as well. It's a 174. Nice dome to it. This one's pretty much brand new, so it's a nice stable one. If I want to throw, it's kind of a backup to that one, but if I want to throw something right in the middle of that one and the next one, this is my guy. This is my go-to. Don't throw it a whole lot because I'm afraid to lose it, kind of, but I really like it, so I might put some sort of dye on it so I can see it easier in the future. But I really like it. And then I got this one, which is my Fusion, my blue Fusion Trespass. And this is only a 170. This thing is beefy. I mean, it's super domey. This is a really overstable trespass for all the ones I've ever thrown. This one's finishing left. It does that real easy. I played a tournament the other day in Peoria, Illinois. I parked a couple holes that were in the 320-foot range with this guy. I mean, I felt solid that day throwing. It was cold, so I wasn't throwing as far as I normally could. But I mean, I haven't parked holes that distance before with that much ease. This thing just goes straight on a dead straight line with a little bit of hyzer flips up, dead straight, and drops left. I bet I can get a huge amount of distance on this if I really power it up and have a really good follow through and snap and everything. I could really get this one to go far if I can get it to turn out and come back. I bet this one will go really far for me. I haven't tried it for distance either, though. Throwing for distance isn't something I do a lot. I like to throw accurately. Even if it takes me, even though I'll take a par over a risky birdie shot. If I can not throw for distance, I'll throw a nice placement shot if I can. I got a Villain, kind of an overlap with the Trespass. It's a little more overstable, but not by a whole lot. Basically, I have this one in the bag still because I just really like the feel of it. I haven't ditched it yet. Really like to feel in my hand. I'll rip it if I want to trust something a little more in the wind. Not a whole lot more in the wind though. This one's pretty flippy. I shouldn't say flippy, but it'll go right. It'll turn out a little more than I want it to. Gold line, and because it's gold line, I might pick up an Opto somewhere down the road. I hear they're a lot more overstable. But I like this disc. I mean, it just feels really good in the hand. Feels a lot like Trespass, so I haven't gotten rid of it yet. Maybe it'll get taken out. Maybe it won't. We'll see down the line, I guess. And then the last one in my bag, which is just for pure distance, that's going to finish left. It's going to turn a little, come back left, is an Air Giant. This one's 157, and it just goes. This is the type of disc. I didn't throw this exact one. I threw a buddy of mine 380 as my biggest measured throw, and I was like immediately I had to pick one up for myself. So I got this one, and it just goes. I mean, with a good rip, I bet I can get this up to 400 something if I really have a good throw. But it just goes really far. And actually, I'm starting to experiment with a little bit for sidearm. It goes pretty far for sidearm for me, and I don't usually throw stuff that far. But I can just throw it on a flat release sidearm. It'll turn out some, and it'll come back right. I don't have a very powerful sidearm throw, so this is actually working pretty good for that. So we'll see how it shapes up for that, but it's just huge distance backhand throws. That's what I like it for. But yeah, that's the in my bag. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing it. All trilogy. What? Even the minis. Look at that. EMAC and DD minis. Nice and blue and yellow here. Got to keep with the branding, I guess. Blue and yellow is what I throw. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.